Hello, I'm Red3yz, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 10 of my Minecraft Let's Play. So in this episode, I plan on talking about a couple new mob traps. There's this big gold farm in front of you, and also there is an Enderman farm back at the base. And also I want to talk about the theories behind them, the design, and that kind of thing. So enjoy. So first of all, the gold farm. As you can see, it's quite big, and that's really the main lesson I learned. I spent a long time kind of designing different mob traps. I actually built them here. I lost a lot of the footage, but there's a pretty cool one I want to talk about separately in a minute. But yeah, basically at the end of the day, it has to be huge. That's all I kind of discovered. So that one there is 2,500 spots, and I think I'm going to make it a bit bigger. But because of the differences in the nether, I think I'm actually going to make it thinner and taller. I was thinking I might expand it to the side, but apart from the fact I would have to build a bigger platform below, there's also going to be a problem with slimes, or magma cubes. So the problem with magma cubes is they don't die in lava, and they don't die from fall damage. So there's basically no way to automatically kill them unless you use pistons, and that's what I'm going to do. So if you know of another way, do let me know. But yeah, at the moment I think I'm going to have wider gaps along the edge for the slimes to fall down, and there'll be pistons along here, and that will crush the magma cubes. Oh, that hurt. So yeah, I'm just going to go up here and have a quick look at the layout. At the moment I'm only using 2 wide pads because I was hoping the mobs would walk off the edge quicker. But yeah, basically it's very simple. There's signs everywhere so the mobs will walk off the edge, and they're only 2 high. And the 2 high bit is quite important, but again, more on that in a minute where we can see a bit better, because the visibility isn't great here in the nether. So I saw, yeah, it was a while ago in one of Trinker Tank's videos, he had 2 wide spawning strips, and shit, and that's kind of why I went for these. There are a few advantages, but basically for here I think 3 wide would be much better, or at least you want the the gaps to be 3 wide, and that's to do with the item collection. My original idea for the item collection was to have the whole floor covered in half blocks, and then any items that fell on top you would be able to collect via a minecart system underneath. So you just kind of ride round. And as you can see, unfortunately, it doesn't work. You're too low and you don't collect them. So what's going to happen is the mobs are going to have to fall into a channel. I'll just kind of put one together here. If I can... Where's that? God, I'm so slow at that. I'm just going to have to take care of them. And yeah, anyways, so the mobs are going to have to fall down into a channel, and that way they're... drops will be contained. Where do I have to aim? Anyways, getting sidetracked. Yeah, so mobs fall into a channel, like so. Their drops get put in the middle, and then you ride around under here. So you imagine this half block is glass, and that way the items won't kind of end up in here. And when you go by on your minecart, you end up picking up all the items in the middle. So I think it's... What was that? I don't know what happened there, but... Oh, I think I got suffocated. Okay, I completely lost my train of thought there. But as I was saying, I think... yeah, they're a perfect example. The mob falls down. And if I then, I better remove this block here. Oh, not that one. anyways, yeah, I'll get in the minecart, go through, and well, as you can see, I picked up the stuff. Now I just have to release myself from the half block. So yeah, that is it. So just to kind of recap how this is going to work, the pads are going to be slightly different. They're going to be 3 wide, I think. Mobs are going to fall off the edges into these channels here. You're going to be riding around on a minecart, picking everything up. Along the edges, there will be pistons to crush the slimes, or magma cubes. And coming down here, there's going to have to be kind of guardrails to keep everything in. So I think what I'm going to do, knowing all that, is maybe, crazy as it seems, chop off the ones on the side and just make it kind of 2 wide and very, very tall, and kind of get all my spawning pads using height instead of width, because at the end of the day it will make everything kind of easier to control. So the good thing about the nether is there's lots of building materials around, and you know, I've kind of been trying to get rid of all the blocks which are nearby, slowly blowing stuff up, and that island up there took a bit of a beating, so check it out. Another thing I forgot to mention is one of the first versions of the mob trap I made was pretty epic, and basically it relied on this. You know, the mobs were kind of standing still, so I thought, why not get some help to get everything moving? And this is kind of the problem I was getting, you know, basically the golems aren't doing their job. They're walking right next to the pigmen. They're not throwing snowballs, so yeah, you know, it kind of failed. But I'm going to show you, oh, there we go, starting to work. And yeah, basically the problem is they become inactive for too long, and they spend large periods of time not doing anything. But I'll show you a version in creative that works quite good. So here we go. This is basically the idea. You have golems in the middle, and around the edge you have the spawning pads. They throw snowballs, then the pigmen run towards the snow golems and fall off the edge. You have to make the pads, or the golem's platform actually, you have to make it quite big so that the zombie pigmen will never actually bump into them. So I think when I rebuild one of these, I will have it more, kind of have it, maybe the pads out here, and the golems need quite a bit of protection. So I think that's far enough away, and that way they'll be safe, because they can get killed. You can see one died in there, so yeah. It was a nice idea, definitely, and as an extra cool touch I have an on and off switch, even though that isn't the idea. The idea was just to have... oh, I guess I have to take out the other one. The idea was just to have pistons under each one to shake them into action. So you can see there's a piston there, and by turning the piston on and off, I was hoping to be able to wake the snowmen up, and that way they would kind of, start throwing snowballs again. But it didn't work. They just kind of sat there and acted exactly the same. So I'll just get a big spawn going on, and then you will see what I mean. And here you can see the problem. There's mobs, there's golems, but there's no interaction between the two. So I don't know what's happening. So here I have a small kind of thing to show you different designs of mob traps, spawning pads, and kind of why I went for the long strips and why they're only 2 high. So basically, if you have a 3 high gap and the mob spawns up here on the pad above and walks towards the edge, then he won't fall down the hole. And I saw that happening a lot. So I decided it was, quite a problem that needed to be solved. And even if the gap is only 1 wide, when it's 3 high, they still don't fall down. Whereas if I go over here to the 2 high pads, I can come over to the 1 wide one, I press forward, I fall all the way down. And if I come over to the pad here where the gap is 2 wide, 1, 2, and also 2 high, press forward, and I fall down the hole. So that's why I did that. That way the mobs aren't falling onto the pads below. And, also another thing is they are long strips, not just because it's easy to build and all that kind of thing, but also because if you have kind of diagonal pattern or a cross pattern, so it's kind of cut out in the middle. Instead of having a big long strip, you have cutouts every so often. Then when the mobs walk diagonally, sometimes, I didn't do it then, but sometimes they can make it to the pad below. So it's kind of, because it increases the size of the gap. There would be a gap there. And basically, I don't know, I'm not doing it right now, but they can make it onto that pad below. Well, I thought they could anyways. Maybe it needs more testing. Okay, there, I did it. So, another reason to go for strips. And apparently you want them to be at least 3 wide, from what I understand. Possibly bigger. So it's kind of a trade-off between the number of mobs spawning and the number walking off the edge. And yeah, that's about it. So one other thing while we're here is sorry, that's my cat meowing there. One other thing while we're here is you may remember the other day I said that everything was looking a bit strange, and I thought the lighting was a bit funny. So you can see the grass here, and the grass here is a bit different. So apparently something amazing has happened at the factory in the whole area, just over this hill, so check it out. Yeah, that's right. Apparently, in 1.9, this whole area has changed into a snow biome. And, you know, I definitely wasn't seeing that coming. And, yeah, pretty cool. I came back, you know, to get some stuff, and I noticed there was a bit of ice on the ground, and I started to film, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden it started to snow. And here we are now, in the lovely snowy factory area. The one downside to the snow is it's destroyed a ton of resources. All along here was rail. You know, you can see there was a powered rail as well. There's one here that has been protected by the tree above, but most of it is just gone. Any redstone or anything like that that was outside is gone. And here we are back at the factory. You may notice a slight addition at the back. That's going to be a new mob farm. I'm still trying to work out the exact details of the design. And I need to put a roof on it and that kind of thing. You can see I'm working out different distances as well. The problem is I want to have Enderman spawning, and that means it has to be a 3 high space, so they have to be quite far apart, I think. And that way the mobs won't fall onto the pads they're not supposed to fall onto. But if it's 3 wide, then that adds other problems. This is meant to be, I think what's going to happen with this one is they're going to fall through some water and land into a pit kind of down here. And that's how this one's going to work. So they'll just fall down through a tiny bit of water as a water break, and then they'll be stored below. But even the water break is going to be a problem, because if the Endermen are 3 high and the other mobs are 2 high, if I don't want to damage them too much, you know, I have to kind of find optimal placement so that the Endermen don't have their heads in the water, and that the short mobs aren't falling too far, you know, or all the mobs aren't falling too far, because they have to fall that extra block distance, and that adds between half a heart and a heart damage, depending on whether they've jumped or not. And then, oh, God, I totally forgot that I built this other mob trap here. Yeah. Spawning pad, it's very boring. It's just 3 wide pads, all made of double half slabs so the Endermen don't take it. This whole thing is kind of geared towards Endermen. And you know, you can see the problem with the drops here. If I walk off the edge, I take a bit of damage. You remember I'm on peaceful now, so the damage doesn't stay there. And if I jump off, then I'll take an extra half a heart. So it's between 1 heart and half a heart damage getting down to here. And my original idea was to have minecart tracks going along the side, and then the Enderman and whatever would be stuck in here, and minecart would pick them up. You can have a track going along each side of each kind of reception pad, and that will increase the likelihood of them being picked up. But you know, it's just going to be insane, you know, it's so much stuff. So I think what I'm going to have to do is forget doing it at this scale. It's just too many minecart tracks and all that, too many pistons to control the Pez dispensers. You know, I think each one of these is going to have to, or each half of this is going to have a separate line so it doesn't take too long. So I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of rethink this, figure out an efficient, or probably not efficient, but figure out a way of converting this into a better design. And I think what I'd like to do is have, I think I'll probably divide it into 6. So 2 down here, 2 in the middle, and 2 across here. And what I mean is mob traps. So I'll have a square one over here, another square over there, and so on. So 6 big squares, and then the mobs will fall down into the center, as opposed to, you know, going for the strip idea, where they can fall all the way along here, because it's just too big a collection point. You know, the whole thing basically is a collection point, and it's just too much. So I think I'll go for something a bit different. I'll have to find a way of getting the mobs down without them taking too much damage, and that's really going to be the challenge, because at the end I want to have live Endermen in carts, and luckily I have a way of doing that. And here it is, a Enderman detector. This is actually a design sent to me by a guy called Bad Hardba, and yeah, you know, it's pretty clever. He uses the glass pane here. I don't know how long it would have taken me to come up with this, because I don't really use glass panes for anything yet, so thank you very much. And someone else also told me they had a working design, but I couldn't find their comment or their name, so sorry about that. But anyways, it's very straightforward. The detector rail is here. There is a redstone torch here, which goes down to this track, and basically any tall mobs, or not tall mobs, too high mobs, they don't hit the cart, so they end up going down this track, and the Endermen hit the minecart, it switches the track, and they end up going here, and it works quite well. I can't show it to you right now because of that thing. It doesn't have an off switch, so if I turn on to normal and we start to try and get some mobs going on, you'll see that soon this place will just be overrun with mobs running everywhere. But anyways, I'll try and get it to work, and if not, I'll just show you the footage. So the idea is to hook up a bunch of Enderman detectors onto this mob trap here, and I think I'll tear out maybe 2 of these and put a special Enderman unit on the end, and a kind of holding tank and all that, because yeah, why not? If you've been watching this and you don't kind of understand all the damage control and, you know, why they can't just be put into a pit and get all the items, you know, it's all about having them in the mine carts, which I still haven't laid down the track for. And it's all about doing that and sending them into the crushers and, you know, making it look cool, basically. So I think I'm on the way. Yeah, always more to do, always new stuff coming. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.